your life is like the Truman Show. 9 to 5 slavery like stay in your cubicle. No more fingerprinting hands, now it's retina scans. Symbolism with hands and satanic messages. Election plots and budget cuts, they run them up. 500 million spent on just a runner up. Just trying to give you some jewels so you can see the light. Cause some of y'all acting like you can't read or write. You only got one life though, so treat it right. Just keep your energy good, you gon' be alright.
When I'm gone, you're gonna miss me. When I'm gone, you will remember.
Yes, sir.
Statik.
Brooklyn, what the fuck? Static. Yeah, yeah, yeah. True living, I heard spring showers bring new beginnings. Loose of women, dollars, refuting missions. Let's do admissions. No religious, painting these pictures vivid. They true the vision. New commissions coming in, gotta get through the 2 dimensions. Don't believe in luck, see blessings in our assumed position. Moving purpose, get through the turbulence with a cool ambition. Gatekeepers speaking, I see him moving with cool intentions. I just keep it pushing and keep pursuing these new inventions. Said it, I meant it, and if I get it, I pen it. And if you read it on Reddit, then you ain't getting my message. I'm like the organic produce, nothing but real in my section. I see my niggas go close to, I had some permanent lessons. I got my hands sitting 10 and 2, winning even when I lose. Code is up, all of my blessings be coming in tools. Know the truth, don't take no wooden nickels and play the fool. That just make it easier to play these. They need something relatable, somewhat unbreakable, trying to escape it all. This shit so undebatable, make it obtainable, someone to save them all. They need something relatable, somewhat unbreakable, trying to escape it all. This shit is so undebatable, make it obtainable, someone to save them all.
I've been getting better as I age, just like some cork wine. Don't gotta use a sundial to see these dark times. Somehow we can see it all, peeking through all blinds. I went from sitting in the court to sitting courtside. Fiends still snort lies, police they report crimes. What they we support swine, the way we eat pork crimes. More fire, getting more fire. I'm Rick and Morty fly, I leave you mortified. Very few rappers state the facts and even more to lies. I lay my vocals onto wax, then I'm immortalized. This quarantine ain't nothing new, I'm used to being the illest. I stay away from all these parasites that they trying to kill us. While you little niggas out in the club, I'm cozy in bed with my Puerto Rican mommy that sound like Rosie Perez. How the fuck did they let Corona get spread? Why you think I'm messed up, can't let it go?
They need something relatable, somewhat unbreakable, trying to escape it all. This shit so undebatable, make it obtainable, someone to save them all. They need something relatable, somewhat unbreakable, trying to escape it all. This shit is so undebatable, make it obtainable, someone to save them all. Yeah, yeah. I used to pray to the Holy Bible, I smoked my rivals. I was focused on survival, drowning in an open bottle. Any and almost Moscato, found me a new hoe to follow. I'm poking in for McDonald's, that's something we won't be proud of. Demons, they acting friendly, play victim and acting temmy. They tripping and acting petty, I'm dipping and that's offending. I used to pack a semi, wildin' off a yak and Remy, jacking Pelly. Ready to rock you if you acting jelly. Sipping Ciroc with Jerry, them coppers killed Dr. Sebi and Malcolm not accidentally. We powerless, that's offended. Biggie and Machiavelli and Nipsey and Papa Ready. My tears, they be dropping steady. I'm ready to start some Betty. This shit depressing. I spit these lessons and hope you listen. If it's an issue, address it so we can try and fix it. While they be rhyming fiction and spitting, I'm not specific. My poems are honest written so they cannot sound relatable, somewhat unbreakable, trying to escape it all. This shit so undebatable, make it obtainable, someone to save them all. They need something relatable, somewhat unbreakable, trying to escape it all. This shit is so undebatable, make it obtainable, someone to save them all. Something relatable, somewhat unbreakable, trying to escape it all. So undebatable, make it obtainable, someone to save them all.
my lane so long, I dozed off at the wheel. The doc said I crashed into a deal. Now I'm an artist, the last you could feel. I master my skill, I'm nice from Japan to Brazil. Say the bad bitch with me, she my wife. And I ain't going back and forth, homie, I'm living my best life. So I'ma throw first, stand tall like Yana, man, it could've been worse. The word earth means dirt, now you stuck in rotation. Militant but never join the nation. The all high UFO invasion. Right, you see me rolling through smooth like I'm Dean Martini, smoking herb, drinking Fiji. I ain't inherit nothing but stress. I'm putting MCs to the test. Teaching better if they come in correct. This one sweater might run you a check. There's no labels, no recording artists or exec to say they seen it like UFO. Feed measured by degrees, Ecuador when it comes to this flow. Build equity, that's all I know. And I ain't need to hear fo to gain knowledge and grow. Play, I did that. Even the bobcat is a big cat. I am in the conversation, you cannot dismiss that. For a sleeve, I have a junkie where your kids at. Playing ball with them just to prove to you I'm big facts. Life coming too fast, don't take it personal. My style like hitting the glass. Look what these words can do, you hooked on phonics. This gas let you smell that I'm hooked on chronic. My past like Valen, this one I'm symbolic. Plus I get fly and I'm 10 toes solid. God must be acknowledged. Right.
Look. Superior flows. Craft got that fuck you disease like venereal goals. Take the fight to where they're comfortable and set up shop there. I got imperial goals. Homie, I ain't even near to my goals. That should prepare your soul. Real ones like we hearing you, bro. Yeah. So I proceed for the simple facts. And I talk to him about the work as if this shit was slack. But that I would never. I'm glad my endeavors ain't have out the treasure upon the first few X's in the sand. Cause he don't never make the wrong turns, a directionless man. And eventually I play the lows fretless with one hand. But till then I need some boundaries just to know just where I am. Like I've been letting enemies at my energy, cause some of them just look like friends to me. And I know that that's cliche, but most cliches started as the truth. So you gon' run into a few if you be partial to the proof. Simply put, I just ain't one of these artists you commute. Before that, I'd be one of these artists you could shoot. Sometimes beautiful's ugly and the heart just isn't cute. You can hang me by my artifice, the noose.
These funny rappers blow overnight in the world of white bitch, and I'm dissecting they lyrics and they overhyped. Shows overpriced, damn they as cold as ice. Selling you product that's garbage, they give me overtight. It's cold at night, cause I've been living this sober life. Had to go blow for blow so I could get me my soldier stripes. Overhand rights from Tyson Fury and Mike Tyson. At night fights, pussy tell me what your life like. Chicken with the rice, $5 plate shit. Introducing y'all to Mac Miller from the basement. 2020 spaceships, the process is greatness. Lordtown masses, signed the Rock Nation. Check the birth certificates, my brother is killing it. Never thought limited, we handling our business. Giving back to the children, that's what we do. We raising money too. ST show off crew, we worldwide. Another day, another dollar. Another day, another dollar. Another day, another dollar. Another day, another dollar. Broke up a busy on the CD and called it a frisbee. I'm on it by many, a lot up in Bentley. Finna cop my own boat and call it the Jenny. Many articles, how I started them, beats in the particles. They all of them, I thought of them, Lil Wayne called it them. Memory raps, I'm mentally trapped. Cause once you take it too far, you can never go back. Like pulling the trigger back, giving toe tags. Most humble, but I rumble with this notepad. And I cut your hands off if you throw jabs. Have your little girls growing up with no dad. Damn, destined for glory, an excellent story. In Roman times, they would've sent a messenger for me. Got a mean shot, baby, I'm as nice as Corey. Got enough ice and jewelry that I can't entice a jury. It's me.
went to war with a nigga that knew my secrets. Ooh, I seen it, and I said it, then you knew I mean it. My brick whiter than the picture of the blue-eyed Jesus. The Grim Reaper, that's who I sleep with, the Crib Keeper. That's who I'ma leave with. Y'all niggas knew my allegiance. I spit ether, supply the swine flu by the speaker. The virus corona did not supply brew by the leader. You try rhyming, got food by the leader. You try and buy fried food while I supply food by the freezer, nigga. Bada bing, bada boom, bada heaters. Dirty money got groomed by the cleaners.
What's up,
Statik Selektah, how you doing?
How you, bro?
Welcome to the show. Welcome to Mad Max Radio, representing WSJ Radio St. John's University.
No doubt.
I see you got a Celtics jersey on. I talk sports on my show. What player is that?
That's my jersey, 82.
Oh, you got a custom on?
Yeah, I was wearing it I made it with the NBA at this event I did with them. I do a lot of events with the NBA. But I was wearing it at a Nets Celtics game.
Mm-hmm.
And I had courtside seats, and I walked back into like they have like a lounge at the Barclays Center, like for VIPs and stuff. And I was in there, and all of a sudden, the owner of the Celtics comes up. What's his name, Laz? He comes up behind me, and he's like, he's like, where'd you get, tell me about this shirt. So I tell him about it, tell him what I do and all that. And my brain was in outer space. I didn't put together who he was right away. And my boy's like, that's the owner of the Celtics, bro. I'm like, what? So then I went over and talked to him more, and we chopped it up. That was cool.
Who's your favorite Celtic of all time?
I mean, the obvious thing to say is Bird, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I probably have a tie with Paul Pierce and KG, man. That era. Paul Pierce is probably number one for me. But that era, like, man, it was a good time, man. With the whole Paul Pierce, KG, like, it was, I seen, what's his name, Ray Allen, I seen him in Vegas, and I had on a Celtics hat, and he's probably like, you hate me. And I'm like, nah. I was like, I didn't like the way you went out, but I was like, it is what it is. You gave us the ring. It's love.
Lucky.
Paul Pierce, definitely. I seen his name getting thrown around this week, too. I don't like that.
Yeah?
But, you a Knicks fan?
Yeah, I'm a Knicks fan. It's rough.
I'm sure.
It's very rough.
No doubt.
I love the new project.
Appreciate that, man.
1982, The Quarantine.
Yeah, we just decided to, in the fashion of the Trill Static last year, how we did it live, we decided to do it. It was actually the day before they shut down the city. It was the last night that like bars and all that were open. And I just called up everybody that I knew was around, and they all came through, and we knocked it out, man, like 10 hours.
That whole project was put together in 10 hours.
Yeah, live
Wow.
on YouTube Live. You can still go on YouTube and see like the whole 10 hours is up there. And like, shout out to Mac and Nige, my whole video team. Like the angles change per room and all that stuff.
I definitely thought it was recorded over the quarantine, especially because if you listen to the first song, Pandemic, it relates to what's going on right now.
Now, all that was done in one day, the whole thing. Like, Term even wrote all the rhymes in one day, because we were at the studio, it was Thursday night, and I was like, let's just do a live album this weekend, because Term was already in town. He lives up north of Boston, but he was already here, and our Shade 45 show got canceled that night because of all the craziness. It was the first show on Sirius to we got an email like, we're shutting down the station. So we were just in the studio all night, and we were like, let's just do it. So I basically left him in the studio, and he wrote all the rhymes, picked the beats, and I came back Saturday, and we started recording at 5 p.m. and before 3 a.m. we were done.
What's your favorite off the album?
I like This Too Shall Pass a lot. I like the joint recorded with a friend and CJ. There's a couple of I like the whole thing, man. It came together. With me and Term have been working together forever, so it's like a switch you turn on and off,
I like Walk With Me.
Yeah, that joint was dope. It's funny because when we got to that point in the album, it was one of the last songs that we finished, and Lil Fame was like, he was feeling the liquor, and then what's his name, Wise P tried to rap on it, and like, he just couldn't get it off. So we had to there was a couple moments. They're all on the YouTube still, but there was a couple moments where we were like, you got to fall back. But we got it done.
You did. And it's real hip-hop, which I love. That's the main thing. I always say it to all the guests on my show. Even though sometimes they may not be real hip hop artists, I always try to make my show about the real hip hop. How do you feel about the current overall situation in the game right now regarding rap?
It's great, man. It's wide open. A lot of people are creating their own hustles, and hip hop is definitely helping out a lot during these times, man. It's like a lot of people are logging on and watching DJs and MCs every night, and it's one of the last entertainments left that people can actually still appreciate, because like we're not gonna see movies being made the way they were. Like TV and movies are gonna slow down for a while. I mean, obviously some are already filmed, but like a lot of people's favorite TV shows are not gonna be able to be filmed the same way for a long time. This whole pandemic thing like really put a pause on a lot of things. So music is one thing that it won't.
For the first track too, and this is a question I think of most of all, is when are we going to get rappers who speak out about the government and politics and issues in our society, especially with the first track. You know, just Pun was trying to warn us, Prodigy was trying to warn us just about different societal issues.
They've been here. You've always had the immortal techniques and the qualities and the public enemies.
Oh, of course.
It's always been here. But, you know, Terms spoke on it, and, you know, it's controversial at times like this because this corona thing is just so sloppy that it's like obviously there's something really happening. People are really dying, but there's a lot of weird questions to be answered, and it's like it's so hard not to be labeled a conspiracist or like I think the way Term looks at it is the way I look at it as well. It's like we're like in the middle, like we don't believe everything the government tells us. Obviously, I don't think anyone does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to go and like start. You know, some people you'll be talking to and they'll start talking about aliens in the next sentence. It's like, and I believe in life and other planets and all that, but like it's so hard to stick to the topic of what's going on right now. And it's like if you know, just staying in the house for a little while is what we got to do. It is what it is. But I watch, you know, I put on the news and I got to turn it right back off because the energy is just crazy out here, man.
Yeah. And you can't watch any of the Trump press conferences either. It's all lies. I
mean, it's been proven historically that we've been lied to so much, and it's like right now it's like I just saw something today, and this is not no conspiracy shit. This is real, like real deal. It was a link on Newsweek, and I'm like, I posted it for 1 second, I deleted it because I don't want to turn my social media into, you know, just a battlefield with political stuff. But literally, the Dr. Fauci or whatever, they literally funded the research on coronavirus in Wuhan in the laboratory that supposedly it escaped from. Like the U.S. literally funded that, and they're not hiding it. It's like documented that they were the ones funding it, that how it happened. Like, it's mind blowing because you think that would be like the first thing on the news, and the article was like 6 days old, and I'm just like, what the like. This guy's in charge of dealing with it, and he was the one that was funding it in the first place. It's like, it's insane, man. I don't want to get too far into that, but mind blowing.
Nowadays, especially as you mentioned, you don't want to turn your social media into a battlefield. You can never have your own opinion on these things. It's so hard. You get so much backlash.
That's why I love my radio show, because on my show on Shade 45, I stick to my opinion and I go hard. Or, you know, we don't have to edit it. I swear, we go in. But it's like social media is not the radio. The thing with social media is any random person can say the right thing and get 1 million retweets and all of a sudden have a voice for an opinion that is not, you know, valid. And it's like social media just makes it an open forum for a lot of craziness and uninformed people to just spread misinformation, you know?
Yeah. And when it was announced that, you know, you weren't going to be allowed back at Sirius as of right now because of the whole coronavirus thing, what were some of the adjustments that you had to make and continuing what you had to do?
Like, I was doing the show from my house. Now I do it from the studio. I've been going to the studio in my office. It's only like a mile away. But my studio, not Sirius. Sirius is in Times Square. Nobody's in that building. Usually on a regular day, there's probably it's 50 floors high. Like there's probably thousands of people in that building every day. Right now, there's nobody there. There's security. So like all the radio stations up there are being controlled from people's houses. Like basically, I send in my show and it gets processed and put in the system, and like it plays. Like I'm still on every Thursday.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not live.
It's pre-recorded.
Sway is live. They got Sway live. What he did is he ordered like the ISDN lines for all the people on the show. So like him, DJ Wonder, and Heather B, they're all actually live from their houses every day, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And you're still DJing, which the fans love too.
Yeah, man, it's
Especially during this
therapeutic
time.
for. I mean, it helps me probably more than anybody because I was losing my mind. I still am, but it's like doing that every night and like seeing people's reactions and like getting all these DMs. Like every day, I get hundreds of DMs of people just showing appreciation and like saying how much they, it's just helping them through the times. It's like all the DJs doing it is very important right now. There's no way I wasn't gonna do that.
What other DJs lives were you tapped into the most? Because you had DJ Premier, D Nice.
Yeah, D Nice, Premier. This is family, man. Like Premier, D Nice are like literally extended family. Tony Touch, Green Lantern, Scram Jones.
Easy Mo B.
Yeah, Easy Mo B, Ninth Wonder. Alchemist, he only did a couple, but I was tuned in.
Lord Finesse.
Lord Finesse is killing it. My man Destroy does a show every day at 7 o'clock. Today he had Pete Rock on, and it's like a show where they show off like collectible items.
Oh, okay.
So like he had Thurston Howell on there showing off all the polo. He had Russell Peters. He had all these different comedians and rappers and everything, and they just show off all their whether it's sneakers or comic books. I know Pete Rock was showing a lot of rare comic books, but that's pretty cool. We're just seeing a lot of people learn new ways of getting, entertainment out there. All my friends, no one knew how to use OBS or any of these softwares to go live, and now it's like, even today I just learned like 3 new programs. It's like, right now is the time to either learn new hustles or just be stagnant. And it's like, we don't come from that, we come from, finding a way.
Mm-hmm. It's someone that's dropping an EP tonight who goes by the name of Bobby J from Rockaway, who I'm very close with, and he's worked with you. You've produced 5 songs off the new EP for him, Endless Summer.
Yeah.
Drops tonight at midnight. What's it like working with him, Bobby J?
He's a real good dude, and he's a fan of hip hop, and like you can tell he really comes from the cloth of MCing and cares about it. And when I meet people like that, it stands out because a lot of people out here are like, they got like their own agendas and all that. Like Bobby just cares about rapping good, making good hip hop. Like that's rare nowadays. He doesn't come with all the hype and all the bullshit that these rappers try to sell you on, or try to, finesse you into like working with them. Like Bobby is about skill and just, he has a story and he got his own style, and that's important.
In the interview I did with him last week, promoting the album / EP, whatever you want to call it right now, I asked him, I said, do you know what Statik's favorite is off the album? And he said, you'd have to ask Statik, but he didn't know I was getting you on the show. So, what's your favorite one off of Endless Summer?
I like Where I'm From. Yeah, it's probably my favorite, Where I'm From.
Yeah, that's a good one. The visual was tough too.
It was a fun record making because it had a lot of Jay Dilla influence. We sampled the Far Side Running on the hook, and that's like one of my favorite songs of all time.
He said the biggest reaction to the track that he made off of this Endless Summer project was Autumn Leaves.
Yeah, it's a dark record.
Yeah.
About his pops. So it's like, it's kind of a hard, for him it's easier for him to talk about it because it's his personal thing, but it's like, what a crazy situation and just sad story.
Yeah. I definitely see big things for him, especially in the world of MCs, because I just feel as though no one even uses that term in hip hop anymore in the mainstream. We never hear of MCs anymore.
Right. I mean, we're in a good place. We got, the Kendricks and the Joey Badass about to come on the new album. It's incredible. I produced a lot of that. There's a lot of good, younger MCs out there coming up. You got kids like, who was I just talking about? I was just talking with a young kid. Oh, Jay Grams is real dope.
Mm-hmm.
I produced a joint on his album coming out. There's a lot of there's always a wave of 16, 17-year-olds that just love hip-hop and violence. So you're always going to see it come and go. Obviously, a lot of those kids love trap music and mumble rap. So, but there's always like a little wave of pro-era type kids, and that's always important.
How about Dave East? What do you make of Dave East?
He's super dope, man.
Yeah.
He I got a record with him and Method Man on my new album coming out this summer. But Dave can do anything, man. He can make a boom bap record, he can make a club record, a trap record. Like he got all different styles, and that's important.
He's very versatile.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on sampling nowadays? Because you're one of the only people that I hear in records that still sample, which is great because it keeps the art form of hip hop alive.
Yeah, I mean, sampling is hip hop, but there's been a lot of issues that the more successful you get, the more you run into road bumps. And lately, I've been like learning how to master making something that's not a sample sound like a sample. So I've been working with this kid from London named Dream Life. Super dope. Like he replayed all the samples on CJ Fly's album. So the CJ Fly album that just came out that I produced, like. There's not one sample on the whole album. It's all Dream Life redoing it. And he does it in a different way, so it's like they can't get you for like interpolation. He makes it a whole new piece of music. And my new album coming is a lot like that too. But when I do like the random indie projects, it's like I'm always sampling.
Yeah.
We just cleared a couple big samples for Joey's album too, so the samples are always going to be there. It's just dealing with the business. It's like sometimes the original musicians say no, or sometimes the original musician has no say and the label or the copyright owner will just say no. Like a lot of Wall Street like there's like investment groups that own whole catalogs of labels now that just don't. Sometimes it's not even an opinion. It's like they're set up where like we don't allow sampling or usage. That happened to me on the new Locks record. Like they literally, it was just like no, there was no bargaining, no price tag, nothing. It was like you can't use it, so we had to get around it. We remade it, and it sounds incredible now. So it happens for a reason, you know.
A big thing too about sampling is that it gives a new life to those records that you sample.
Of course, no, there's a million great things about it. There's no real negative side of sampling. There's, you know, many musicians like someone like Bob James. You know, obviously he's a jazz legend. But that dude definitely made way more money off hip hop than he did off his own career. Like, no disrespect, I'm just calling it what it is. Like, he made millions off of hip hop records sampling him. You know what I mean? And he embraced it. I heard at first he didn't, and then later he really started to embrace it when he started seeing, the checks. But obviously, what hip hop became. At first, a lot of people were like anti-sampling in the '80s, and then I think in the '90s when they saw like Public Enemy and Tribe Called Quest and, Dr. Dre, what these guys did with the samples, they turned it into, they changed hip hop from like just what seemed to the world is like what's the word? Not a gimmick, but like just something real playful. People like Tribe Called Quest and Wu-Tang and all that, and Dre, like they turned hip hop into like a serious art form that really changed the world. So it's like, without sampling, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So anyone that doesn't understand the significance of sampling in hip hop just doesn't understand the culture.
Producers today are so hesitant, especially up and coming ones that are independent and young kids who are producing. They're so hesitant to put their stuff out because they sample.
It's really not smart. Like I'm saying sampling is smart. I'm saying for people to be hesitant. All the time people text DM me and they go, "Hey man, I got this beat with a sample. I'm scared to put it out." It's like, bro, you don't have to worry about it until you have to worry about it. And when you have to worry about it, that's a good thing because that means you had a record that blew up, Like Drake, for example, I always use him. Best I Ever Had, his first hit song ever. That came out on Universal through Young Money when they put it out officially in stores.
Yeah.
And the sample still wasn't even clear. And that's a big record he sampled on it. They dealt with it. And he obviously he took a L a little bit, but he still ended up making millions of dollars off the song. But it's like, things like that, it's like, if you got a hit, run with it, and deal with what you got to deal with later. In the meantime, you got kids that don't even want to play people their beats because they're scared of like, come on, man. The whole indie hip-hop world is sampling that doesn't get cleared, and that's just, it's always been like that. So in case you got to worry about, the only time you got to worry about is when you have a major label placement as a producer, you have to clear it. That's it. Besides that, man, these kids are scared of nothing. And I hope someone out there hears this and understands it. Just get creative with it.
I feel as though the production state in the mainstream hip hop way is just in a bad state because there's no creativity anymore. Everyone will take a song and just throw trap drums over it.
I can't say that for all.
No.
Like,
Not
I
everyone.
say that for the stuff on the radio.
Yeah, stuff on the radio.
I mean, I don't know. I never was like a pop dude, and hip hop on the radio became a whole different thing. So it's like I'm not into. I enjoy some Drake records. I enjoy like certain stuff, but I can't. All those beats that sound the same with the. I don't want to point nobody specific out, but like when you, it hurts my head to put on the radio now. It's like a lot of the shit is just the same exact sounds, the same flows. It is what it is.
Every beat sounds the
There's
same.
definitely some creative producers out there.
Yeah. A Derringer is one of them too.
Yeah, but that was never made to ever end up on the radio. That's like the shit we grew up. Derringer's like, that's like the grimiest shit in the planet. So I love that. That's what I listen to. But it's like, I don't want that to be, that's not for everybody. You know what I mean? That's for acquired taste.
I just want that sound to hit the mainstream again in the 90s. I didn't grow up during that era, but that's why I listen to my headphones.
That was never mainstream, man. Like, group home was never mainstream.
You're right.
Like, even Mobb Deep had to, like, finally, like, Shook Ones was not mainstream. It is now because 20-something years later, people end up, it's a classic song.
Or it was from 8 Mile.
Like, Cream was not mainstream. That shit was not on rotation across the country. That was an underground record. It was so iconic that now you might hear it on the radio as a throwback because of what it did in time. But it's like, when those records were coming out, they were not being played on the radio. Like, until, Juicy and, like, when Puff started doing with artists, like, that was when those hip-hop records started to get played on, like, commercial stations. But, that sound is supposed to be for the underground. And, like, it's dope that, like, West Side Gun got Virgil, and he got all these, like, people that were never listening to that sound checking them out now. But don't get it twisted. Like, hip-hop is, like, the real shit that we love is not for everybody, man. That's for a specific group of people. If everybody in the world listened to, Derringer beats, it would feel weird, man. I like bumping into people across the planet that understand and love the same shit I do. Alchemist, Pete Rock, Primo, like, it's like a secret society, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just don't understand why the radio just doesn't give it any attention. I think it could definitely...
All numbers, man. It's all numbers. And, like, it's way safer to play a sing-along song that has all the kids on TikTok and all that. Like, it's just safer for the companies to do that. They don't care about, the significance of the culture or the dignity of it. They just care about the numbers. And that's why they're all falling apart, too. These major labels are in a lot of trouble right now. You got people like Tory Lanez doing... He just, he got he got out of his contract with Interscope. He just did a live show on YouTube and had people, like, just donated money on the YouTube live, and he caked up off it, and nobody gets to touch that money. That's scary to these record labels, because the labels are not going to be able to survive if all these artists try to start figuring out how to do that. I mean, a lot of them can't contractually do it right now, but he got free, and instead of going, he could have gone to Atlantic, or he could have gone to one of these labels and got a couple $1 million. Instead of that, he's staying independent and owning everything he does and keeping all that money. And that's going to be a big change for how people do things moving on.
The internet just killed everything, because you were big with mixtapes back in the day, and you had to make an adjustment.
But look what it did, though. It forced me to make albums, and that's a whole new world of creativity. So I'm kind of, now when I look back, I'm happy it happened when it happened, because I had years in the mixtape game, legendary experiences and all that, but it's like, what are we going to be selling? First of all, it happened right before CDs died too. Thank God it happened then, because what if it kept going and all of a sudden you got a bunch of mixtape DJs arguing about who's streaming and all that shit? Like, it wouldn't have happened. It would have got shut down worse than it did. So it was bound to happen. I think it happened at the perfect time. I had this conversation with Drama too. And Drama was like, nah, it boosted him to a new celebrity. But it's like, I miss the competitiveness of getting exclusives and, like, going to Canal Street and beating other DJs to the certain dealers and all that. Because all you had to do was get a couple of guys on Canal Street to pick up your CD, and the next day they were bootlegged all over the world. It was just how it worked. But it's like I said, now that competitive spirit is in the making the music now. For cats that make albums like this, you know, like Khaled and Tony Touch and myself. Like Tony obviously was doing it way back, but that's my brother-in-law, so I always use like Tony as like, um, you know, the blueprint as far as DJs making albums. He was one of the first ones to do it like that with the Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about DJs today? Because that changed a great deal too. Everyone can be a DJ today.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing the quarantine's shown though, is like the DJs that ain't doing anything mixing wise or scratching or any of that aren't getting no looks. I click on some of these pages, some of them are live with like one person watching. Because this isn't the club where people are buying bottles and standing there. Like, that's the thing, a lot of DJs in New York, that was their income, is DJing these clubs, playing the same songs as the next guy at One Oak or Up and Down or any of these clubs. And now that the quarantine's here, nobody wants to watch that shit while you're on quarantine. You want to watch somebody play some, you know, what D Nice is doing with the classics, or what Scram Jones is doing remixing, doing scratches, or what A-Track does. Like, you want to see people be creative, and all that push button DJing right now is like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
So at least it made people step their game up.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? When this is all over, like, I hope that some of these promoters wake up and start booking some of the slept-on cats, because there's a lot of DJs that are so nasty that are getting creative right now that, you know, are showing themselves on Instagram Live and all that. And we'll see. I mean, it's here, man. So one way or another, people are gonna figure it out.
Yeah, you're right. If you had to choose your favorite sample that you've used of all time, what's your favorite? Because you use a lot.
I'm gonna just say "Funky Drummer" by James Brown. I used it on the Eminem record, Detroit vs. Everybody. But the way I did it, they couldn't figure out how. I basically processed the drums in a way that got rid of the reverb, and they were trying to figure out how it was like that. And like M was trying to have people replay it, and then we went through all this headache to try to replay the drums because it was James Brown and his estate was asking for a lot. And at the end of the day, we must have made 6 different versions of it. At the end of the day, we just kept the original. And the money to make that happen, but that definitely is like the craziest sample I've ever used, because it was ballsy to even use it in the first place, because this ain't 1988. Like nowadays, you sample James Brown, you're getting taxed on it.
Big time too.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I got like 2% of the record. It's crazy. They took a lot, man.
I'm not surprised. Another sample that I loved was listening to Bobby J's Walter White when you scratched AZ and reppin' Why No Lie.
Yeah. That's not clear though, so you know I'm not gonna speak of that one. Shout out to AZ though.
AZ is nasty. Some people say that he had the best verse on Illmatic.
It was really good, but I don't know about that one. That's a bold statement. New York State of Mind is probably the best verse ever.
You brought up Guru before, and I've heard the stories online just about you going on the tour with him and going to the hotel and the promo guy or beating you guys, basically. And he slapped the guy or something?
Yeah, basically we took a limo from New York to the Poconos, and the guy's like, "Yo, go hang out at the hotel for a while." And he tried to put me, Guru, and somebody else who I'm not going to mention because I hate his existence, but Guru's man. And he tried to put us in this like hotel room with like one bed. He's like, "Just chill here." We're like, "What the fuck?" And then we were in the middle of the Poconos and there was no service. So we ended up like walking back to the venue, like miles. And these are the days before Serato. Like I had a crate of records. And we walked mad far, just complaining the whole time.
No one knows about that anymore.
We got back to when we got back to the venue, the promoter like didn't have the money. Guru ended up slapping him for calling him Keith. And then the cops came, and the cops were like, they were about to like try to lock him up. And the cops like, "Wait a minute, are you Guru?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I'm a big fan, man." He's like, "Yo, fuck these dudes." He's like, they let him go. They're like, "Get back to New York now." They made the limo driver. The cops like threatened the limo driver that he had to bring us back to New York, and we never even did the show. But we went back and It was a story for the books.
I've had this conversation with Boston natives and also New York natives. Would you consider Guru a Boston MC because he is from Boston?
Nah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like he's from Boston, so yeah, obviously he's one of the greatest to come from the city. But it's like when you talk about that era, it's like Guru moved out at such an early age. He moved out when he was like I think 18 years old. He's just not. Nobody ever considered Guru part of the Boston hip hop scene because in the '90s it was just such a poppin' thing where like Acrobatic and the Creators and Mr. Lip and Seven Esoteric and all that. And Guru wasn't really around for it. He ended up being on the song called Home by the Creators that had like Crumb Snatch and everybody on it. But it was like he never came up. The whole time I lived in Boston, I've seen him there like maybe twice tops. Like he never came back there. He never like really worked with anybody back there except Big Suge, who obviously is part of Gangstar. But he like when I think of Gangstar, I think of Brooklyn and New York. You know.
Yeah. Rest in peace to Guru.
Yep.
Who would you say is the best MC to come out of Boston?
Ever?
Yeah.
Guru's up there as far as like impact wise.
At OG?
At OG's up there. I mean, Term, Rex. You got there's different what do you call it? Like eras of it, you know? Like obviously Edo's he's the OG with that. Shit, there's a lot of them, man. Millie's is killing it right now.
Oh, Millie's, yeah. You did a nice project with them too.
Yeah, shout out to Millie's. I mean, Jordan is super dope, but that nobody really considers the same way. Like Terms from Lawrence, Rex is from Lawrence. That's like the same distance away from Boston that Worcester is. So like, the thing is with that too is like even with Jordan Lucas, like he was never in the Boston hip hop scene ever. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully. Like when I met Jordan, he thought I was from New York. That's how much he wasn't in the Boston hip hop scene. But he's amazing and he's from Mass, so it's good for the state. But there was a scene in Boston. It's like if you did less than if you did less than 20 shows in the Middle East, you weren't in that scene. Like all of us from the mid '90s to now, it's like everybody I know has done at least like 50 to 100 shows in the Middle East. That's like such a big part of that scene up there.
They're saying that the UK and overseas is the market for real hip hop. The main market.
It's everywhere. This for like rappers doing live shows, they get better looks out there because you know what it is like a lot of people's brand is built out here, so they end up spending the money to go to South by Southwest or going, to All-Star Weekend or doing whatever it is, and people out here are like rapping is so in your face here. It's like for let's just say a random group like just say like a Sky Zoo or someone. For him to go out to like London and Germany, it's like a big deal to them because they love his music. Where it's like here, it's like we watched him come up. Not saying people don't appreciate it here. He does good and sell out SOBs right now. But the point is like out there, it's like such a treat when American hip hop comes over there. So it's like they set up tours way easier. It's a whole different situation. Me and Joey were doing 150,000 people at festivals before he even had an album out. Like people love hip hop overseas, but it's the way it exists over there could never exist here, all the time, and it can't exist over there all the time either, because no one wants to see Smith & Wesson go to Germany 10 times a year. You know what I mean? They want to see him when they come and make it special, and then you got to wait till next time. Out here, it's like rap is just in your face everywhere you go in America, so it's people are jaded,
Yeah. You recently released a Biggie track too.
Yeah, I was bored, man. It was like a Sunday afternoon, and I was like, let me throw this on something. It was a verse that I never heard before that I had in the stash that this dude reminded me of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just put that on this beat, and I put it out, and people went crazy. Like I was getting calls from everybody from Clark Kent to Mr. C hit me up. Like mad people were hitting me up. It was crazy, but yeah, I was happy that I could, that I did that. That reminded me of the mixtape days, because back then it was like you try to get rare verse or remix it. nowadays it's like people have heard everything. So to have a Biggie verse people didn't hear was so
What's your favorite Biggie album?
Ready to Die.
Ready to Die.
Yeah.
It's a good
It's not
album.
even close for me. But there's a lot of records on Life After Death that when I first heard. Now I appreciate the whole album. When I first heard it when it came out, I was like, eh. Like I just wasn't ready for some of it. But and looking back, I mean, Biggie was so ahead of his time with it.
He was.
But Ready to Die, like that shit came out. The first time I heard it, I was in love
The Ready to Die track itself is hard too.
with it. Yeah, the whole album.
You never hear any music besides yours. When I listened to the whole Pandemic, the intro track Pandemic off of it, no, I never get any music that just makes you make that nasty face, that mean face. You don't. It's
Lester
very.
Noel is the producer, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
I got a whole album coming to that, man, soon. I'm just waiting for the shit to be over. But the new album, it's got some crazy records on it.
I'm looking forward to that, especially that Dave is on there. Big Dave East fan.
Yeah.
Dave East is crazy.
One of the first times the first time he was ever on Wax was here in my crib, man. He came through in 2014. He did a song called The Locker Room for Lucky 7. And this is like before he got with Mass Appeal, before he linked up with Nas. Early. My man Wayno from Everyday Struggle, Wayno was managing him back then. And he came through, and he was the only one on the album with a solo track, too, I think.
Yeah. People give you credit too, and I do as well. You helped break out a lot of these guys on your radio show.
A lot of them.
Chance the Rapper,
A lot. Action
Action
Joe,
Bronson, Conway.
A lot, man.
And that's important in radio today because if you look at the mainstream stations, which I have a problem with, it's what the record labels tell you to put on your show, and they pay you to do that.
They have no control, man. Like the DJs on FM stations now, you know, there's always a specialty show, like Peter Rosenberg has one at midnight or whatever, but like, besides that, these DJs gotta stick to the playlist.
And it's sad because it's killing the art of hip-hop.
Nah, but I think it's so unimportant. Like, FM radio is not no artist needs FM radio, and it's been like that for a long time. Like, one of the first artists I saw blow up without FM radio was Mac Miller. Like, when Mac came out, he didn't give a fuck about radio. He didn't go to no radio stations. All he did was just do his own thing and have his own lane with the fans, and he just killed it. He was like, you know, it was part of the blog era and all that, but like, that was one of the first artists that was like, yo, paying to promote it at radio, because that was a big part of the game back then. You had to pay for a budget for someone to work your songs to radio. That doesn't exist anymore. Now it's like we got Shade 45, and besides that, you got the internet, man. And if you can't make it work with your own Instagram or whatever you're doing, like, people are coming up with crazy followings just doing their own thing, and that's what's beautiful about right now.
Mm-hmm. In your opinion, who is the most essential rapper in hip-hop history?
I mean, probably Jay-Z, because he showed people how to, you know, go from the mud to being a billionaire and being, you know, starting all the other rappers are signed to Jay-Z. So it's like he started literally an empire, like unlike anything that hip-hop's ever seen. Proud to be signed there. Let's go.
What was it like signing there?
It's cool, man. It's been an experience. Recently, I've had like what's the word? It's almost like I'm a new artist there now because we changed management, and now I'm like so much closer with some of the people that I should have been dealing with there. That now it's like I get treated a million times better. Like things are just way. The communication, there was like a wall that got broken down, and now it's like I'm in a really good place, man. Like right before all this madness happened, I was out in LA for Grammy weekend, and like everything was like this whole year was going amazing, and then man, Kobe died.
Kobe, yeah.
And, like, I feel like every day after Kobe died, it's just been like worse and worse as far as in the world hearing news about someone passing away, or the pandemic, or this or that. It's like it's been a crazy year. But the only reason I'm bringing that up is because that was the last time I was out at the Rock office in LA. It was like, I remember that feeling like things were going so great that it was like something's about to go wrong, because that's how life works. But it's like this year's been crazy, man. I just can't wait till society starts getting back to it, you know.
And we may not be normal for a long time.
No, man, it's crazy. It's
knows?
hard not to be, you know, you gotta watch what you say at times like this, but it's like, every time I start to feel bad about something that I was looking forward to, I'm like, you know what, there's people out here like losing family members. I mean, I've lost a couple friends during this, but
Oh, my
there's people
condolences.
losing family members, losing their careers, losing their businesses. It's like, I'm just blessed to be in a situation where like, I can stay busy at times like this and still get music done. And like, I know DJs that are like, they haven't been able to pay their rent in 3 months now. And it's like, not 3 months, but 2 months. And it's like a lot of people going through it, and I'm just happy that I can keep food on the table for my family. So
I'm glad to hear that too. It's important during this time. You're still able to do that. And we lost Fred the Godson, which was just devastating to the real hip hop
he
world.
was just at my show, man. Like, it's scary, man.
How long did you know Fred for?
10 years. 10 years, man. I found like a bunch of freestyles he did for me before I even knew who he was. Like he was sending me music before we even linked up. And then Freddie Gibbs had him come through for the album we did, and that was like the first time we worked together. But
It's tragic.
sad, man.
It really is. And I just hope things get better as fast as they do. I know.
Things are gonna get better. It's just like I think the world might be forever. It is forever changed. So I'm just curious on what they try to put in place, because anytime something affecting life. Well, first of all, we've never seen anything like this in our lifetimes.
No.
So it's like, you know, you look at post 9/11 and all the things they put into play. It's like they're gonna put some major changes into play. Forget about all the theories. Forget about who did what. It doesn't matter. It happened, and now there's gonna be, you know, big lifestyle changes. So I'm just curious to see what it's gonna be.
The thing I don't understand is that people are starting to go back outside again, and they're not wearing masks either.
Yeah, it's like I understand if people want to go outside and do things or like go for walks, ride the bike, whatever it is, just put the mask on, man. It's like it is what it is. It's not that inconvenient. Just do it not for you, for other people, because God forbid you are a carrier and you don't know it, and something happens and you end up killing someone and not even knowing it. You don't want to. That's like bad energy all the way around. Just put the mask on.
Mm-hmm. I want to get into your legendary tag on all of your songs. How did you create that?
It's this girl, Erica, that I brought to a movie one night, and we went back to my crib, and I was working on a mixtape, and I was like, "You got a funny accent." I was like, "Can you just say some things?" And she said my name a couple times. She said a couple drops, and I just chopped up the Statik Selektah, and I just started using it on my mixtapes. And then when I started producing, you know, a lot more music, I just started throwing in the beginning of the song over the sample part. Here we are.
And people know it's you as soon as that drop comes on. That's the main thing. I know a legendary picture that was posted on your page and the internet of you, Joey Badass, and Nas.
That picture will make a lot of sense soon come.
I think I know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, it's the new album, you know?
Yep.
Obviously, it's on Mass Appeal, so Nas is involved. Joey's that's my brother, so anything I do, he's gonna be on. Anything he does, I'm gonna be on. So just, you know, put it together, and there's some new music coming.
Yeah. What's it
Some
like?
people took it the wrong way, though. I've seen some people be like, Joey, Statik, and Nas are working on the album together. It's like,
No.
it ain't the album, but it's music. I'll say that.
What's it like working with Nas?
It's the best, man. I mean, he was my favorite growing up, and he still is. And just to, you know, I've had the opportunity to travel and DJ for him, and I've DJed for him so many times that we have like it's like tradition now. Like anytime a new Sweet Chick restaurant opens, I do the party and Nas comes to the rocks. Like we've done it from LA to New York, like so many times. I rock with him in Hawaii. Like me and Nas have a lot of history, but now finally people are hearing the music. You know, I had the record on Lost Tapes too that we did. Did that song in 2011, and I never even heard it. And like I just heard about it. I kept hearing about it from his managers, and finally I heard it like about a month before it came out last year.
It's insane.
And then the record I did with him, Apostles, off the Mass Appeal compilation, we did that in the studio together. And then all the new stuff is in the lab together. So I'm excited.
as everyone knows, as being a real hip hop fan or just a hip hop fan in general, they say that Illmatic is his best album. Would you agree with that? Because I think it was written.
I hear that argument a lot, and I start to respect it a little bit more now. When I first started hearing it, I was like, nah. But Illmatic was, like, the thing about Illmatic is he pulled out something that no one else ever did, ever. Like, nobody ever made just an album with that exact lineup of producers and not having a whack record. It's like, people have tried to put those producers together on something else, but it never lived up to, like, the perfection of those songs. It's like, Illmatic was just the concept of a young kid, 18-year-old kid making an album like that with the best in the world, and like the thing that makes Illmatic so much more iconic than it was written on those. You want to argue about song structure and lyrics and all that, that's a different argument. But Illmatic is definitely more iconic.
Yeah.
Because what it did was it brought out the best of everybody on the album. Like, Q-Tip made Primo go back to the studio and not made him, but when Primo heard what Q-Tip did, he wanted to go back and revamp Represent. And then what Large Professor did, like just Pete Rock is like, The World Is Yours is arguably, one of Pete Rock's best beats of all time. Obviously, They Reminisce is probably number one.
Yeah.
The World Is Yours is like, that's the best Pete Rock. New York State of Mind is the best Primo. Like, to have all the best of the best on one album, like, no one's ever done that before.
No. I agree.
And when they were doing it, there was no hype. Like, there was hype in the industry about this kid Nas, but no one had a clue he was going to come up with some shit like that. Like, that was... It caught people off guard,
And he was only a teenager, which was crazy.
Yeah, man. He was like 17, 18, recording most of the songs.
No one would ever think that he was that age. No one would ever think that.
Yep.
I remember seeing an interview with MC Search saying that the only complaint the album got was that it was too short.
Yeah. Yep. Shout out to Faith Newman too, who was his A&R. She's actually my A&R at my publishing company Reservoir. So me and Faith work real close, and now it's cool that everything kind of came full circle. How like I'm signed to Nas, I'm signed to them. Like the whole thing's full circle because 2 Chainz is also signed there, and we got the same lawyer, and me and 2 Chainz got albums coming out too. That's ridiculous. So it's like all that shit just coming together, and connecting the dots is important. And Joey signed over there too. So that's all. It's dope, man. All the energy came together perfect for this moment, and we just gotta get through it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the new music, especially Joey Badass. That's great to hear. The Joey Badass fan. I'm sure all the other fans will be happy to hear that.
He's dropping really soon, man. Like, you're gonna hear some music ASAP. I got the release date today. Not for an album, but just for some new music. The album's done, but so you're gonna hear some new music soon.
I'll be looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it. Now, Statik Selektah, I want to thank you for calling into my show tonight. I had a great time, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to get out onto the show, by the way?
Nah, just check out all the new music. I got a new album, UFO Thieves, CJ Fly, Wise P. There's so much new music out there. I got an album with Paul Wall. There's been over like 6 albums dropped in the last 6 months, so just check it out. Hit me on Instagram. I appreciate you.
No doubt. All right, Statik. Have a good night. All right. Stay safe.
Yeah, man. You too.
You too.
Ironically, there's no broom by the sweepers. Take a room full of dreamers and I move them to Venus. Excuse me, I'm speeding. I gotta make room for the demons. And crack babies off dope in the
Thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight to me and Statik Selektah's interview. Go check out his new project with Terminology 1982, The Quarantine. It is available on all music platforms. Follow him on Instagram and Twitter at Statik Selekt. StatikSelekt. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TheRealMax, TheRealMax. And stay tuned to any announcements regarding upcoming shows, interviews, to my Instagram and social media as well. You can stream my show live on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, from this YouTube channel that you are currently watching right now, Sports and Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max, on my website, maxrcoughlin.com, maxrcoughlin.com. All my previous episodes and podcasts are on my website under shows for Sports and Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max as well. So make sure you go check that out. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Stay safe during this difficult time. We will all get through this.
Statik Selektah.
Let's go. The realest, twin birth in a theory. I'm one person that can tell you the full story. Lazy eye, ill temper. I bully anything that look different. Fuck out of here. Voice high pitch, quick to smack a bitch. I'm selling crack just to get rich. Got my aunt and my sister in place, like the man in the industry with slave on his face. Dearly beloved, thugs cry undercover. They paint a perfect picture, but we think nothing of it. You see, Basquiat grew his dreads out. The stress of his life threw his meds out. We self-healing, black melanin appealing. Curly hair, dark skin, we God's children. I shoot dice in the hood, telling young boys, come fuck with me, we all good.
Yeah, come on, take a. When I'm good flow, this is every zip code. Let that bitch go. Real talk, homie. Yeah, come on, take a. Where they bang at, and niggas do their thing at. This where we hang at. I got that hawk with me. Motherfucker, take a.
Walk with me through the gutter, man, where they cutting cane. Both pockets full of rubber bands. Puffing strains till my eyeball colors change. Back in the days, couldn't have no watches and chains. Couldn't walk around without the thing. Trying to floss in their face, get you tossed in the grave. Every zip code, hustle hard and get low. With them cars, the Benzos, do it large and get dough. This the ghetto, 38 specials, Smith & Wessons, shotties, 9 millis, text blow. Passive aggressive, how the goons be. Line you up and get the stepping with your jewelry. Gunshots, we used to those, we shoot at foes. Polo down, head to toe, shoes and clothes. Could lose your soul, fuck around, lose your goals. Everything is on the go, let me bring you on a stroll.
Yeah, come on, take a. When I'm good flow, this is every zip code. Let that bitch go.